Okay, when you're watching a movie, have you ever wondered how a filmmaker can immerse you into the story? Let's take a look. If I were to show you this shot, followed by this shot, what would you say is happening here? Flirtation? Okay, now, if I were to take the first shot again, but now follow it with a different shot, notice the different interpretation of the scene. So, what's happening here? Two things. One, by getting the character's point of view, you identify with the character. Two, it establishes that that character has control of your vision because he controls the camera and what you see. In film terms, this is called point of view cutting, and it is part of film grammar. To identify point of view further, let's go to the master of this technique, director Alfred Hitchcock.
There is one difference between what I prefer to make and very often what you see, and that is to convey visually certain elements in storytelling that transfers itself to the mind of the audience.
Hitchcock is a director who uses point of view to create voyeuristic tension. So, voyeuristic tension arises when you have a character looking at something or someone while being looked on by the audience. Yes, that's you. Here we have Norman Bates looking at Marion Crane undressing. Pervert. We interpret it to mean that he's lusting for Marion and that he's probably a depraved man. Yet by giving us his point of view, Hitchcock is implicitly incriminating you as a voyeur along with Norman, because you know you want to watch what he's watching and that makes you a pervert too. You become identified with him. The cinema frame becomes a peephole for you, so don't judge, man. This is what Hitchcock is playing with in a cinema. You, the audience, are participants in this voyeuristic art form called cinema.
I think you're the cause of all this. I think you're evil!
So, in the film Psycho, we had the infamous shower killing scene where you become a voyeur looking at a naked woman about to be murdered. Now, of course, there is a repulsion to what's happening on the screen, and yet, you can't look away. In some ways, you want it to happen because if there was no tension and nothing happening in a story, you would get quite bored, wouldn't you? Hitchcock knows this about his audience. Okay, so why else would you go to a horror film if not to expect murder? Or to a porn? Never mind. So you become implicit in the murder. You anticipate tension and drama, and Hitchcock plays with this by giving you what you want, and at times withholding it to intensify the tension. Interestingly, after Hitchcock makes you identify with Marion through point of view for the first 50 minutes of the film, Hitchcock switches the point of view to Norman Bates and you begin to root for him to destroy the evidence of Marion's body. This is how powerful point of view can affect you, the viewer. Nice. Now, my fellow perverts, let's look at how Hitchcock withholds point of view to create tension to put you on the edge. In The Birds, which is a film about sexuality, guilt, and pleasure, point of view is given to Melanie Daniels, played by Tippi Hedren. So Hitchcock establishes this by showing us what Melanie is looking at throughout the film. We have this shot, and cut to what she's looking at. And remember, we're also intensely looking at Melanie through the frame of the cinema. This voyeuristic conflict of you looking and Melanie looking and you seeing what she's looking at gives rise to tension. Follow me so far?
Maybe you ought to put some screen on top of your chimney. You want some help cleaning up?
No, I can help it. It shouldn't be too much of a job.
In this scene, Melanie is waiting outside a school playground, sitting and smoking a cigarette. Hitchcock withholds her point of view from us on purpose here. So notice the effect it has on you, the viewer, because we have information that Melanie does not have. Because our view and Melanie's point of view are not in line. Your participation becomes important here. We see a bird land on the monkey bars behind Melanie. Hitchcock averts our view from the birds by cutting to a shot of Melanie without the monkey bars behind her. He holds in a shot of Melanie getting her cigarette ready. Hitchcock cuts to the monkey bars, which now show that there are now 4 birds on the bars. Tension increases as we receive new information that Melanie does not. Another bird has landed. Another cut to Melanie. Hitchcock is building tension by separating our view from that of Melanie's. Then another shot of birds landing. Then we have a medium close-up of Melanie for 27 long seconds as we anticipate what may happen to her, as she does not have the vision to see what is behind her. Oh, and as a side note, my theory is that those birds have gone crazy because of those children singing. And that's why I have this scene. Yeah, you guys asked for it. Melanie finally looks into the sky as Hitchcock finally gives her back her point of view shot. It's a shot of a bird flying through the sky. Our point of view of the cinema frame and Melanie's point of view are now back in line. We see through her eyes. But notice that we get a shock when we realize, along with Melanie, at the same time that there are over 100 birds on the bars. Hitchcock has withheld information not only from Melanie, but also from us. He's aware of both Melanie and our point of view, and by creating conflict between the two, he has created tension and suspense. So I invite you back next time to define, and remember, subscribe. Thank you.
I'm gonna put some eyeliner on. It's gonna look real nice. I'm going down to the church on 4th and Vine. I'm gonna marry my love. Oh, we'll be happy for all time. Yeah, he's the sweetest man you could find. So gentle and so kind. And he's got those big brown eyes. I can't believe me like he's mine. Not that he's no worse, 'cause you know his love is serious. So warm inside, when he take me for a buggy ride, when he take me for a buggy ride. I will, I will, I will, I will.